Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakak, Padash. All right. I'm going to break some scriptures down real quick. I'm going to do this quick message, Lord willing. All right. Topic today is warfare on our focus. There's a warfare on our focus. And this is a topic I wanted to break down real quick because I noticed the spirit of the world is trying to bring a lot of saints' mind back into the spirit of the world, man. Right? And the Lord didn't give us the spirit of the world after we receive the spirit of the Lord, right? Let's go to First 2 Corinthians real quick. All right, let's go to 2 Corinthians. Let's try to pull that out over here. 2 Corinthians chapter 2. First Corinthians, Salaki. All right, this is the book of First Corinthians. Well, let's go down. It's the book of First Corinthians chapter 2. All right. And let's go up to verse 12. It says, "Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Yahweh, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahweh." Right? So we think the Most High didn't give us the spirit of the world once we got into the truth, and the truth or the light of the truth opened our eyes, the eyes of our understanding. All right. And once we become into this truth, man, there is no going back. There is no matrix to find another key to go back, man. Right? And the scriptures let us know in Hebrews that, right? It's impossible to go back, right? So the fight and the warfare is always going to be there until Yahweh shall come. But we endure until the end, man. We're not numb to real situations coming upon our lives, man. It's real situations that come. You got to deal with it. And you got to look at it right in the face, right? So the warfare is on our focus, but I want to just pull this out real quick. This is Hebrews chapter 6. The warfare is on your focus. They're trying to move your focus back into the spirit of the world, and you feel it, right? Hebrews chapter 6. And let's start at verse 3. "And this will we do if Yahweh permit." Verse 4. "For it is impossible for those," who are those? Those are the saints of the Lord, man. Those are the saints of the Most High. "For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Ghost." So he's saying it's impossible who were once enlightened, right? He's making a fashion statement because you can fall. You can fall, but the elect, it's impossible, man. Why? Because they're going to be focused. They're going to have a focus. "For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened." Because when you get the revelation, man, revelation transforms you. It's really revelation. It's not religion. It's not even just reading the word. It's the revelation of the word that transforms an individual, right? "Who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Ghost and have tasted the word of Yahweh." Tasted the word, right? He put that word. Remember what he did to all the prophets. He put the word in their mouth. It was sweet to the mouth, but it was bitter to the stomach, right? And that bitter to the stomach is the stuff you got to deal with while you in this truth enlightened, right? It says, "and have tasted the word of Yahweh and the powers of the world to come." So we all have tasted the word and the word of Yahweh and the powers of the world to come. There's a world to come we always speak of, right? There's a world to come we always speak of. That's what we look forward to, right? And we got to be pioneers to that. So there was this little video, because the true warfare, if you go to Ephesians chapter 6, the true warfare is what? This is the true warfare right here. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. All right, verse 10. Well, let's go to 11. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. It says, put on the whole armor of Yahweh that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So you're standing in opposition against the wiles of the devil, against the wiles and the trickeries of Satan. Now, what's one of the trickeries of Satan? To draw you back, man, because you have been elevated into a level of heavenly status, man, a heavenly state. We all been exalted into a heavenly state, spiritually speaking, because we don't deal with the world. We don't deal with nothing that the world has for us. Our main goals is to reach that kingdom. So we have to endure everything that is in your way, right? And as you see that picture, this is all that's in your way. Women, men, women, all right? Money, the bag. Everybody always talking about that stupid bag. And it's funny, everybody talking about getting a bag, right? But ain't nobody talking about the high inflation and how the dollar is about to crash. So what that bag gonna really represent? What that bag gonna really do for you when the dollar crash? Stupid. But anyways, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. This is the real warfare, man. But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, not the world to come, but of this world, right? So everything's against you in this world, man. Against spiritual wickedness in high places. See that? So as I was looking at this video, I thought about focus, because I said, man, there's a real warfare on my focus. There's a real warfare on your focus to get you back into the spirit of the world, man. To get you back into the spirit of the world. So let me try to make this brief as possible, because I got to go and bring it out on the streets. But look, all right, look, I'm already live. All praise. So I wanted to show you that the horse, when they put blinders on a horse, look at the focusedness that they have. The blinders on a horse is for a purpose. All right, now I'm going to show you. It's only 2 minutes, and I'm going to show you how the blindness on a horse, the blinders on a racehorse or on a horse in general, is for a specific purpose, right? And we need the same purpose, or we need to walk in that same attitude as that horse with blinders on, right? Salaki. All right, so check this out. Now peep on this real quick, and we're gonna give in detail what is the true reason that a horse got blinders on, right?
Hello ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to General Information Channel. I hope you enjoy watching. In classic films and daily life scenes, you may notice that horses that usually pull carts or those on racetracks put a leather piece on their eyes to cover their surroundings except in front of them. These leather pieces are called blinders or blinkers, and they're very important when it comes to horses and chariot riders. What are the blinders that are used to cover the eyes of horses? The main purpose of using blinders is to keep the horse focused on its path. The clouds reduce visual deviations from behind the horse.
To keep the horse on its path. So he won't see no other distractions on the side of him, on his peripheral vision. He won't see nothing on the other on one side or the other, but he's focused on the goal and the path that he is going, that the man is leading him to. We don't have a man on our back. We got the spirit of the living Yahweh that's leading us, man. Let's get first. Well, I'm just gonna quote it first. Romans 8, chapter 1. Romans chapter 8, verse 1. It says, there is no condemnation for those who are not who do not walk after the flesh, but after the spirit.
And on the sides as well. It is believed that these mines make a big difference in horse performance when used in horse racing or those that toddle carts. Well, if we assume that the mines are meant to keep the horses quiet and prevent them from being distracted in crowded cities, it's pretty true. But covering the eyes of the racing horses is
in crowded cities, just like you see that picture, all these different distractions, Salaki, all these different distractions, everything is calling on your name right now, because spiritually, the warfare is to bring you back down because you've been elevated, man. We've been elevated on a spiritual level because that's part of our promise. That's part of our covenant, that we was going to be elevated above who? Above all nations. Who? Israel. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 6:7 real quick. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6. Salaki, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. It says, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy Yahweh. The Lord thy Yahweh has chosen you to be a special people unto himself, meaning you separated, right? Unto himself above all people that are on the face of the earth. So spiritually, we've been elevated into that status. And we just waiting for those resurrected bodies and the new world to come, or this world to be renewed, to actually see that on the physical level. Nevertheless, spiritually, man, everybody sees us on an elevated state, man, because the Most High put us there. That's part of our promise. This is why we the Akims break down the word the way they break down the word. Nobody in this world has broke down the word like the awakening has broke down the word, man. And then that's why it bugs everybody out. Why? Because their shoe level status, man. Every last one of these cats, I don't care if you're apologetic, I don't care if you a evangelist or whatever you is, man. You could be on the top Christian pole, right? The top Christian class of classes, right? The Lord didn't choose the nobles, as we read, as you can see in the 1 Corinthians. Let's go there real quick. Who did he choose, man? Let's see who did he choose in the New Testament. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, or chapter 1, Salaki. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. All right, verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, right? Philosophies, man's philosophies, religions, all right? Not many mighty, okay? Not many noble are called, right? These theologians, these scholars. He says, but Yahweh has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Yahweh has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. That's why the word in the scriptures is breaking down the way it's breaking down, that not everybody can understand it, right? But only the chosen can.
Aimed at something else besides keeping the horses focused on the finish line.
Keeping the horses focused on the finish line, right? Hey, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's speaking to you right now, telling you, hey, trying to get your attention. Why? Because you're walking on the right path. A lot of us walking on the right path, right? But the thing is, the true problems is in our hearts and in our minds is that the flesh wants the spirit of the world back. but your spirit wants the spirit of Yahweh continuously. That's the true battle, man. You know, we read that in Galatians, right? That's the true battle. All right, let's go to Philippians chapter 2 real quick. Or chapter 3. It's Philippians chapter 3. And let's look what Paul says. Because Paul had those spiritual blinders. The spiritual blinders is the word of Yahweh. That's what I'm trying to get at. With the horse, all right, so just as the horse's blinders to keep them focused on the goal, so is the word of Yahweh is our spiritual blinders to reach the goal that we are pursuing, which is the kingdom, man. This is Philippians chapter 3. This is Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. Brethren, so Paul is talking to who? Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things. I'm talking to myself right now, man. Forgetting those things which are behind. Even when people talk about behind you, when people talk behind your back, and that's beautiful. Why? Because they're behind you. That means you're going somewhere. He says, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. That's the spiritual blinders that Paul was moved by. That's the spiritual blinders that all the apostles, all the prophets, all the saints of the Most High was moved by, man. They had spiritual blinders. They could have went back into the world plenty times. Hey, that was Abraham and his wife Sarah. They had an opportunity, right, to go back to the world. They even that was on their mind, but they chose a better way, right? Hebrews chapter 11. Let's get there real quick. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 11. All right, Hebrews chapter 11. All right, verse 13. It says, these all died in faith, not having received the promises. So Abraham and Sarah, they didn't even, Abraham and Sarah and everybody that was with them, they haven't even received the promises, man, but yet they kept the faith. And we're almost in the promise. That should motivate our faith, because we're getting closer to the time of the Lord's return. But having seen them afar off, so they seen them afar off. Man. The Lord actually showed Abraham, but he showed him afar off what the kingdom was going to be, and were persuaded of them. So they was fully persuaded, like Paul was, and the apostles and prophets, and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. See that? He says, for they that say such things, look at this, declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had an opportunity to return. Look at that. They might have an opportunity to return, but they wasn't what? Why? Because they have spiritual blinders on, the word of Yahweh. Let's go.
And that, you first have to know that the eyes of the horses can see what's in the back, as well as being an inborn instinct to protect themselves from predators.
See that? They got eyes in the back too, meaning their senses are on a high level when they're out and about on this pathway, because on the pathway, there's warfare, man. There's absolute warfare. It's just not no clear path. You can just walk from one place and just walk, end up in the kingdom like it was no pressure, man. That is not the kingdom. If you in a walk where there's no pressure, you're not moving into the kingdom, man. Right? If you're not fighting, hey man, you better check your election, see if your election's sure, man, because if there's no real fighting, if there's no real opposition against you, every time, the moment you get up off your bed, an attack, right? If you're not getting this, then you need to check your own salvation, man. You need to check you need to check and reevaluate to see if your election is sure, man. And likewise with all of us, right? Let's go to Second Esdras chapter 7. Second Esdras chapter 7. All right. And let's start at verse 2. And he said unto me, up Esdras, or up Ezra, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my Yahweh. Then said he unto me, the sea. Now he's seeing this vision, and the angel is showing him how narrow the path is that we walking on, right? And he knows himself in the spirit world. The angel can see everything that we going through. That's why they assist us, help us on our journey to the kingdom, right? But he sees what's going on. He sees in the spirit world what it really looked like, right? Look at this. He says that then said he unto me, the sea. So he's talking about the sea, right? The sea is set in a wide place. So the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be the deep and great. So the sea is deep and great. So that's one side. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. So the entrance to the kingdom is very narrow. And you got this massive sea, this massive, deep, great sea on one side. Verse 5. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it? Right, because the sea will overtake you, man. That's the spirit of the world. And to rule it. You can't rule that. You can't save the world. If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? See that? There is also another thing. A city that is built it and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance, therefore, is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. So on one side you got fire, you got water, the spirit of the world, right? And then the other side you got the fire, man. And you could be overtaken by it. You could be overtaken by any, right? What's that fire, man? All those fleshly desires that come and try to overtake you, man. When you be, going through these different temptations, that's the fire, man. So you got the spirit of the world and you got massive temptations to overtake you, but you on this narrow path. You still walking like this horse is walking. That's the spirit that we need in these last days. Talking to myself as well, man, because it's so easy that to draw you out of your way and your path, man. Right? This is why we have to die daily, as Paul speaks of. He says, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So one man can go there at once. So that's a lonely road. You're a lonely road. Only one man, one per each man can go through there into this narrow road, because the spirit of the world on one side and massive temptations to move you into burning in your lust and to move you to the wrath of the Most High with all these temptations. The narrow path is very narrow, man. Put those spiritual blinders on, which is the word of Yahweh. Let's get Psalms 119, right? Just wanted to make a point when I seen this. I said, man, all praises. That's exactly what we need, right? And that goes to men and women and children, man. Nobody is out of this, right? This is Psalms 119. This is spiritual blinders that as the horse has, we have spiritual ones, bro. They got physical blinders to keep them on the right path, so they won't see all the other stuff that's can cause them to be distracted. All right. This is Psalms 119, man. Verse 119. Let's get that. Psalms 119, verse 119. Oh, Salaki, verse 105. Psalms 119, verse 105. It says, thy word is a lamp unto thy feet and a light unto my path. See, that's the spiritual blinders, man. It's the word. It's the word, man. It says it's the word. So the word gets you on keeps you on the path that you need to be on, and it's a lamp to your feet. Just like that old Michael Jackson video, Billie Jean. Everywhere he walked, the floor lit up. Every every word that he put his foot on one of those on the sidewalk, or really on the street, wherever he was at, the street that path lit up. You know, Billie Jean, that's the pathway, man. It lights up literally. When we walk in, the path is lighting up. We think we just going to go, but literally there's a pathway that lights up when we walk through it, spiritually speaking. And the angels assist us to make it there, man. To that next step, that next what's they call it? Forgot what they call it, but the next pinpoint, the next stop point where you got our checkpoint that you got to go through and die there just to go to the next path. But it all lights up, man. Look at this. It says, verse 107. I am afflicted very much. Quicken me. How you quicken? How does the Most High quicken you? His word. Oh Lord, according to thy word. See that? So the blinders that the horse got, we have too. But we need to apply it. We need to apply that pressure upon us through the word, man. And that's all you'll see. You'll be focused on that, right? All right, let's keep going though.
So the eyes of most animals are on both sides of the head and not forward as humans, and some animals are, like monkeys. The horses take notice of every movement in front of them, even if it's breaking a tree branch in the forest. It may seem to you not that important and
that's how sensitive the horses is when they out and about. They can, if they hear a stick crack or break, they react. And that's how we need to be in this truth as well, man. You know, that's the spirit of discernment. You know, that's one of the gifts that the Most High give us, so we can navigate navigate through this wicked world, right? Spirit of discernment, just like the book of Eli, his discernment was on a high level based off the situation that was at hand. The whole world was decimated, and he knew to stay on the specific path. Notice he didn't stay on the road, but he was off road. That when he seen those two individuals, that two Edomite couple, you know, with their basket and got their books and all that, the enemies came, the wolves came, slaughtered killed the man, and then raped the woman and then killed her, right? Blew her head off. But in the midst of that, you know, what did Denzel, who played Denzel, or Denzel that played Eli, what did he do? He said, stay on the path. Stay on the path. Do not get involved. This is not your fight. That's real discernment based off the situation that's at hand, man. You know, and so in Jacob's trouble, we're going to react the same way if we stick to the spiritual blinders, man. The word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right?
Dangerous, but for the horse, it can cause panic and fear and move in a dangerous, random way. In order to
you got to be sensitive to the spirit, man. Paul was very sensitive to the spirit. When the Lord, every time Paul tried to get somewhere he couldn't go, he said, "The Lord prevent me not to go there. The Lord prevent me not to go there." In the book of Acts, right? He tried to go one place, and he'll tell the Corinthians, "Hey, the Lord prevent me not to go there. But when there's a door open, you'll surely I'll be over there." You know. So you have to be very sensitive. Your spiritual ears have to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, man. Go ahead.
And this reckless behavior on horses, a piece of skin is attached to both sides of the horse's face so it covers what's happening in the horse's back and sides, and so the distraction is reduced and can focus on what.
Hey, that's mean right there. I like that. So basically, they cover their face. That's the helmet of salvation. They cover their whole face because they're so sensitive, right? That now we can switch it. We can switch down to a whole nother level because they're so sensitive, right? Which is this flesh. The flesh is so sensitive for the urges of the spirit of the world, right? That he needs to put those binders on. You know what I'm saying? So it can reduce that pressure on you so you can be focused on what you need to be focused on, which is that path of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, man. Hey, that's mean right there, man. That is absolutely mean. All right, let's finish this.
Task. As for horses that pull carts, the minds are important as well, because the cart tied behind the horse may be considered a predatory animal behind it. The visible image of the cart must be removed from the field of viewing the horse so as not to harm himself or anyone carrying them in the cart.
Not to harm himself.
In addition,
flesh.
Most of the New York street stroller busters, for example, include two horses running in the cart, and in order not to be confused by the presence next to it,
Yeah, and that's it, man. That's it. Put on your spiritual blinders, man. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate. All right. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be which go in therein. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the path. Remember, we was talking about that water and the fire on both sides, and the narrow road to the point it's so narrow that people have to go in one by one. That's how narrow it is, which is included as a lonely road. You could be with 1,000 brothers and sisters, man. You could be with 1,000 saints marching in this thing, but you're still by yourself, man, because the Most High got to deal with you, right? Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leads unto life, and few there be that find it. Call Allah Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakadash. So, as Paul said, I am crucified to the world and the world to me. So we have to be in this wild, wicked generation, man. This perverse generation that we in, right? So it's warfare on your focus, and we're going to cut it with that, man. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Shalom. Shalom. Kwam Shabbat.